Good evening, everyone. Jeremy here again, Strange Radios, here for another CD update. The final group of CDs from the Christmas holidays. Man, it's just been a busy, busy month. And so we're finally getting around to the end of it. And got about 10 or so. These, weirdly enough, all sort of are just filling holes in my collection. Not a lot of adventure in terms of blind buys and stuff, but just finding a lot of albums that are filling holes that have been empty for quite some time in my collection. Let's get right into it. Up first, the self-titled debut EP from Pelican. Not gonna lie, didn't even know this existed. I do have their first full-length, Australasia, but I didn't even know they had anything out before that, so this is cool. Pelican, instrumental metal band, a lot of post-rock influence, if that means anything. Some good stuff, some beautiful, beautiful moments on that record. Up next, again, just filling holes, Typo Negative, World Coming Down. Interesting enough about this one is, I don't think I've actually heard any of the songs off of it, which was weird, because I do dig Typo Negative. Next, a couple Frank Zappa CDs, because of course, still working away to get everything Frank Zappa on CD. With these two, I'm officially at the halfway point. He has 110 official releases, 55. So, Joe's Corsage and Little Dots. And I've seen a lot of people have discussions online about this. There's basically two camps when it comes to Zappa's posthumous material. Those who say they're not interested and those who do enjoy it. And I can see both arguments here. Something like this. The Joe series is just compilation albums that Joe Travers puts together of demos, studio outtakes, and other miscellaneous practice material. This kind of stuff is something that Frank would never, ever, ever have released. And I totally get why people aren't into it. Because, yeah, it's just alternate takes and demos and stuff. You know. But Frank does have posthumous material like this. Little Dots, which Frank absolutely would have released had he not died so early. These are live performances from the 1972 Petit Oiseau tour, which is basically like a 12-piece big band that Zappa went on tour with. And the title track, Little Dots, fucking amazing. The Columbia, South Carolina improv tracks are, again, just incredible. It's a lot of fun. And if you haven't been into the posthumous material by Frank, you know, albums like this he would have actually released. Also, the studio album, Dance Me This, and Feeding the Monkeys at My Maison. These are albums that Frank was working on. He would have released them. So don't shy away from all this posthumous material, which I've seen some people doing online. Some of it is genuine Zappa brilliance. Nirvana, Unplugged in New York. You know, found it cheap. Didn't own it yet. The only thing from Nirvana now I don't have is their debut, Bleach, which honestly I don't really care for. If I happen to stumble across it at like a garage sale or something for like $3, maybe I'll buy it. Otherwise, no real interest. Ghostface Killah, for scale. Actually just heard Justin Hunt talk about this being a slept-on classic, and kind of have to agree with him on this. Man, this thing is great. Some real grimy, gritty moments, and then some really funny moments, but it all flows together really well. And there's some good features on there too. Next, Internal Bleeding, Driven to Conquer. I think this is their third album. I could be wrong on that. Reading about these guys online, I do have another album by them, and people were saying that they were death metal. I don't quite see that. I wouldn't call them death metal. I also read online that they were a precursor or an inspiration for the slam subgenre of death metal. I can kind of see that. I could see why they would be considered that. But to me, they're just a heavy, gritty thrash with some extreme metal influence. But this album's okay. It's okay. This next one, oh my god, the cover is so terrible. Absolutely awful. David Lee Murphy, Out with a Bang. This is his debut album. You do not call your debut album Out with a Bang. That's pretty good way to become a one-hit wonder, which he was, I do believe. It's on here, Dust on the Bottle, which is a pretty decent track. Mid-90s country. Yeah, other than that, I mean, Dust on the Bottle is a good song. The title track, Out with a Bang, is good, and the rest of it's just kind of mediocrity. Just not awful, but nothing really that good either. Song 41, All Killer, No Filler. Look, you know, this was a huge album when I was young. My brother had it, and Song 41 has some good moments, you know, not even gonna lie. And I like the fact that they, on some of their earlier releases, flirted with thrash metal and power metal a bit. Not in earnest, but, you know, they had like these parody songs like Pain for Pleasure. And I can't remember the other names of the other two, but on their debut EP they had a couple that were power metal-like, but they were kind of funny, tongue-in-cheek stuff, but still, fun band. They didn't stay fun for very long, but their early stuff makes me laugh, so. Again, filling holes in the collection, Kyuss, Welcome to Sky Valley. Pretty good record. Little annoyed that it's only 3 tracks, even though there's several songs. You can see there's about 10 tracks. There's 10 songs. They only appear on 3 different tracks. They all just sort of run one big long thing. That's kind of annoying, but just to put the album in, listen to it from beginning to end, pretty good. And this one, last one we're going to cover, Filled Glass, Glassworks, with bonus tracks in the upper room. Honestly, only listened to it for the first time today, in the car. It's not the best way to experience this album, but I did quite enjoy it. It's got a real cool, what would you call it, like a cyclical driving rhythm to it, with the horns and the woodwinds. It's got a real cool rhythm to it. It reminds me actually a lot of Colin Stetson, the saxophonist, who does a lot of that circular breathing and does really cool stuff with the sax. Parts of this remind me of his work, if you're familiar with it. Filled Glass, I don't know that much about. That's the second album of his I have. Just started getting into him recently. So, what I've heard so far, I really enjoy. Any recommendations of what to check out next from this guy? I'd totally appreciate it. Any thoughts on any of the other albums, too? Feel free to drop in the comments what you think of any of these. And thanks for watching. That's it for now. Until, I don't know. We have some more coming up. We do have some more coming up. But that's it. This has been Strange Radios. Stranger, adios.